In this video, we're going to talk about Spotify, what they do and what their future looks like to determine if it's a good investment to make. Now, if you don't know what Spotify is, very simply put, it is an app. You download the app on your iPhone, your Android or your Mac, and you'll get access to pretty much all the music available in the world at the moment. Now, they have mass market appeal due to the fact that they have a free membership. Now, the free membership, you would have to listen to ads before listening to the songs you want. You can't really search for the music and scroll through every song on the album, so it's a little bit restricted. But most people tend to upgrade to the premium membership due to their price point. It's only around $10, $15 per month, depending on where you are in the world. This will allow you to access all their music, build your own playlists, and also they've got a really cool feature which I love to use called Discover Weekly. It basically recommends music based on what you've previously listened to help you discover new music which you previously wouldn't have been able to find. They're also really grown into the podcast space as well, so that's something which we'll talk about later in the video, as it's an area they're really looking to sort of go into in the future. But before we start, please hit that thumbs up down below. It is a new channel, so it really would help out. I'd really appreciate that. Please also consider subscribing down below so you'll be notified when I upload my next video. I'm going to be uploading at least 2 to 3 videos per week to give you insights into the stock market, about individual companies, good investments to make, and where you should put your money in this uncertain time. So Spotify have almost 300 million monthly users, with almost half of those being on the premium service. So over half of those are still on the free service, the ad-based model. But what's really good about Spotify's business model is that 90% of their revenue does come from those premium subscribers. Remember, there's no contracts with Spotify, so people can upgrade and downgrade. If they lose their job or they want to save a bit of money, they can just drop down to the free service and upgrade whenever they want. So it's a really good business model. Now, in July, a lot of companies have boycotted Facebook. They're not putting any money into ads on Facebook. So Facebook are taking a big hit on their revenue as a result of that. If that was to happen to Spotify, just as an example, that wouldn't really affect their business model due to the fact that 90% of their revenue does come from those premium subscribers. Spotify is also really clever at customer acquisition, I think, because they get people on the free model initially and they upgrade them to the premium version by way of like ads, email ads, a very low barrier to entry by offering them even a 50% discount or free for the first 3 months to get them onto the premium service. And once you start using the premium service, once it becomes a habit, you just continue. Now for me personally, at $10, $15 per month, I'd probably pay double or even triple to have Spotify. I use it every single day. The average user uses Spotify around 22 hours, I believe it is, every single month. So it's a decent amount. It's almost like an hour a day. Personally, I probably use it more than that if I'm in the gym or I'm walking to the train station or whatever that is. So they do have a really high high average use. So I probably use Spotify more than any other app, and it's something I use every day, so I love to invest in companies that I use on a day-to-day basis. Now, Spotify's diversification of customers is amazing. Now, they're mainly in Europe. 39% of their customers are in Europe, but they've also got massive exposure in North America and South America. South America is an area they've really aimed to grow in the last couple of years, and they've been successful in doing so. They are looking to expand into other areas like Russia and India they're looking to do in the future. Also, Africa is going to be a big market for Spotify moving forward. They've also got a decent market share as well. They have about 35% of the market, with 19% of those being in Apple Music and 15% of those being in Amazon Music. If you think about it, Apple and Amazon's combined market share is about the same as Spotify's. So that is always a danger, is always a risk when you compete with Amazon and Apple due to the amount of revenue which they have. If Amazon were to come in and Apple were to come in and really go for it, really sort of go and try and beat Spotify and knock them out of the market, there's potential to do that due to their revenue. However, Apple have tried over the years and they have tried to to me personally, I don't think Apple have really mastered Apple Music, whereas Spotify is just the number one, it is the market leader. I do think it will continue to be so as well, due to the fact they're pumping so much money back into the business. They're trying to expand their business as well. Whereas Apple have got other streams of their business which they're trying to concentrate on. Apple Music doesn't seem to be the priority. What I do love about Spotify, and Daniel Ek, the CEO, I think he's a great CEO, is that he's really reinvesting capital back into the company. Now, a lot of CEOs don't do this. They'll take the revenue out of the company, they'll maybe take a portion, whatever that is, take the profit, or if a company's paying a high dividend, to me that says, I don't know how to build my business, I don't know how to reinvest that money, so I'll just pay it out to the shareholders. Spotify's reinvesting all that money, and it's great as a shareholder like me to see that he's invested $100 million into this Joe Rogan deal, which is absolutely huge for Spotify. Joe Rogan has the most downloads of any other podcast out there, and to me that's not just the fact that that's going to increase customers, that's going to increase the customer acquisition. When I think it's September where Joe Rogan will be exclusive on Spotify, obviously the intention with that is to get those people who are listening to Joe Rogan onto Spotify, so that's the only place that they can listen to him. That is a great acquisition, but to me that just sends out a great message to the world to say, look, we're in this. We're going to be number one. No one is going to come close to us. Also, this Kim Kardashian deal as well, I think that's pretty cool as well, because it's appealing to a completely different target market. Joe Rogan, you could probably argue it might be targeted at males from 20 to 40 generally, whereas Kim Kardashian's probably more like teenage girls. So he's appealing to a little bit of a different target market, Daniel Ek there. So I think he's done a really, really good job with that. I think those are two very good acquisitions. And these two could be the catalyst for other podcasts to sign exclusively with Spotify in the future. So Spotify being touted as the next Netflix. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. Whether they move into that video space and try and compete with Netflix, I'm not sure. I think they probably will. I think they'll move into that video space in the future. I know podcast seems to be the focus at the moment, but moving into that video space moving forward could be huge for the company and a great way of compete with Netflix, who, in my eyes, Netflix don't really have any major competitors anyway. Now, Netflix are coming up to that maturity stage where profitability is more important than customer acquisition. At the moment, Spotify are just trying to get as many users as they can. They're in that growth stage. When they come into the maturity stage moving forward, yes, they may focus more on profitability, but now it's just about reinvesting funds, getting more customers on board, getting them onto that premium membership to make as much revenue as possible. So it's a very, very exciting time for Spotify. Now, just to look over a few numbers and their growth, as you can see here, the total monthly active users grew 31% year on year to 286 million. At the end of Q1 2020, they had 130 million premium subscribers, and that's up 31%, and that's ahead of their forecast. So as we can see with Spotify, what they're looking to do is they're looking to grow. They're looking to increase their customer base. They're not so worried about how much profit they're making, and me as a shareholder, I'm not either. Remember, they're in the growth stage. They're looking to increase as many customers as they possibly can. They've already got a lot of customers in Europe, a lot in North America, and a lot in South America as well. They're looking to expand into areas like India. They're looking to expand into areas like Asia. They're looking to expand in areas like Russia and Africa as well. There's a lot of people in India. There's a lot of people in Russia. There's a lot of people in Africa. So the next 5 to 10 years, I think Spotify could be huge, not just from a media and podcast standpoint, but also a video standpoint as well, if that's something they look to go into. However, for me, again, as a shareholder, I'm not worried if they do stay into that audio space. They become the audio equivalent of Netflix. Netflix has the video space. Spotify has the music and podcast space absolutely dominated, and they increase their customer base in the coming years. 300 million, active active users is a lot, but I think there's a high chance they could expand that moving forward, and they could get a lot more. In India, what is the population? Like 1.2 billion. That's a lot of people to try and target. So there's a huge area for expansion moving forward for them. So in terms of revenue, that grew 22% year on year on Q1. There was some sort of impact, as you can see, particularly in areas like Spain and Italy at the start, where they were quite badly hit. So a lot of people who maybe lost their jobs might have downgraded to the free service, or they may have cancelled their membership too. Now that may transition into the Q2 as well, due to the fact that you can see here that that was particularly last 3 weeks of the quarter they were affected. So obviously that's Q1 results. We haven't had Q2 results yet, so we could see a decline in, a lot of people may have cancelled their memberships, things like that as well. But on the other hand, people have more time. People have more time to listen to podcasts and music, maybe because they've lost their job, or they've been cut down a little bit, so they have more time to listen to those podcasts. So maybe that might balance that out. So I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to see when they post their Q2 results. So Spotify are trading at around $260 at the moment. Remember, they do trade at a bit of a discount because they're based in Europe, they're based in Sweden. If they're based in America, they'd probably be trading a little bit higher. Now, in terms of, being based in Sweden, to me, that's like, it's not necessarily a bad thing. You could argue that sort of adds an element of diversity to your portfolio because they're based in Sweden. They wouldn't get caught up in political issues in America like other companies have, like Facebook at the moment. They're up 120% from those March lows. That is being driven by the Fed. That is being driven by the Fed driving up asset prices, of course, like every other company seems to be dragged up by that at the moment. Also, this Joe Rogan deal and this Kim Kardashian deal, that massively spiked the stock price as well. At $260, I still think it's a great buy. I think they have an intrinsic value of around $300 to $350 at the moment. I think that will go up in my estimations in the future, due to the podcast space and all the other points we talked about earlier. So I do still think it's a great buy. I bought in around when Joe Rogan signed. I think it was about $180 per share. I will look into be adding more shares soon if there's a significant drop. They did have one recently, but it wasn't a big enough drop for me to add more shares and buy, more shares at premium price. Although I do think they're worth a little bit more, I would like a bigger drop before I enter, and I probably would advise the same. Remember, this isn't financial advice. This is just for education and entertainment purposes only. So don't always do your due diligence, but please remember, always look into the company before you invest, and you have to be in the mindset when you put money in the stock market that it could go down. So if you're not planning on accessing the money that you're putting into Spotify, I do believe it can be a great investment moving forward. Although I'm very pro Spotify, I am a Spotify bull. I do believe they're going to be a huge company in the future, even bigger than they already are, and I do think they'll be very, very profitable in years to come once they've got their customers way up from where they are now, over probably 1 billion maybe they'll have in a few years' time. So for me, I'm very pro Spotify. That's why I chose to invest in them, and that's why I'm looking to invest even more shares into them in the future. However, you do have to think about the risk of the company. Remember, they're competing with Apple, they are competing with Amazon. Some people may argue they're a little bit one-dimensional at the moment. They've only got the music, they've only got the audio thing at the moment. To me, that's not a problem. Netflix are the same, and look at them. Netflix are, in the FANG stocks. They're one of the biggest companies, or biggest growing companies in the world at the moment. And also, you've just got to think as well, they don't actually license their music. That is one thing to consider as well. Again, I don't think that's too much of a problem. It is a little bit of a complex issue, which I can, talk about in further if you want, but I do think that is something you have to consider. Overall though, I think Spotify is a great investment. As I just mentioned, I definitely would try and get them at a bit of a discount if you can. Wait for a drop, or just dollar cost average them, because I think they're going to be a huge company in the years to come. Thanks for watching, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Taking time out of your day to watch a video. I really hope you learned something and you got some value here. Please consider subscribing down below. Please also hit that thumbs up. It really helps because it's a new channel. And also hit that notification bell so you're notified when I upload my next video. As I mentioned, I'm uploading 2 to 3, hopefully more videos per week. Let's see how we get on. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.